and retouch is on, lighting is on. So this is the book I want to read now, but I'll be reading it loud. So when next I come on live, we're going to continue from wherever I stop. Currently, my boss is not around, and I hope I don't get disturbed rather. So no excuses. That's the book. Let's begin. Let's start what we've come into the room to do. Into the room to do. Into the room to do. Into the room. Mi tiẹ̀ tí bẹ̀rẹ̀ part 1 gan rárá tẹ́lẹ̀. Introduction la ṣe wà. So let's start. From introduction. My English is not that good, but just manage the H factor. H factor and A factor. We're gonna read. Let's start. But before that, I need to check some messages. Kò ń ṣe game mò ń play lẹ́nìí. Ẹ ti decide láti má show up. So we hope this works. Let's start. Introduction: The miracle of self-discipline. There are thousand excuses for failure, but never a good reason. Mark Twain. Why are some people more successful than others? Why do some people take more money, live a happier life, and accomplish much more in the same number of years than the great majority? What is the real secret of success? Often I begin the seminar with a little exercise. I ask the audience, how many people here would like to double their income? Almost everyone smiled and raises their hands. I then ask, how many people here would like to lose weight, get out of debt, achieve financial independence? Again, everyone smiles. Some people cheer and they all raise their hands. Then I say, wonderful. These are great goals that everyone has. We all want to make more money. Hi, if you're here, welcome. Welcome to my space. Spend more time with her family. Be fit and trim and achieve financial independence. Not only do we all want the same things, but we all know what we have to do to achieve them. And we all intend to do those things sometimes. But before we get started, we decide that we need to take a little vacation to a wonderful fantasy place called Someday Isle. Someday Isle. We say that someday I'll read that book. Someday I'll start that exercise program. Someday I'll upgrade my skills and earn more money. Someday I'll get my finances under control and get out of debt. Someday I'll do all those things that I know I need to do to achieve my goals. Someday. Probably 80% of the population lives on someday. Most of the time, they think and dream and fantasize about all the things they are going to do someday. And who are they surrounded by the someday eye? Other people on someday eye. And what is the chief topic of conversation on someday Isle? Excuses. They all sit around and swap excuses for being on the island. Why are they here? Why are you here? Also, let me ask you. They ask each other. Not surprising, their excuses are largely the same. I didn't have a happy childhood. I didn't get a good education. I don't have any money. My boss is really critical. My marriage is not good. No one appreciates me, or the economy is terrible. They have come down with the disease of scarcity, which is invariably fatal to success. They all have good intentions, but as everyone knows, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. The first rule of success is simple. Vote yourself off the island. No more excuses. Do it or don't do it, but don't make excuses. Stop using your incredible brain to think up elaborate rationalizations and justification for not making action. Do something. Do anything. Get on with it. Repeat to yourself, if it is to be, it's up to me. Loser make excuses, winner make progress. Now, how can you tell if your favorite excuse is valid or not? It's simple. Look around and ask, is there anyone else who has the same excuse who is successful anyways? Ask yourself that question. Is there anyone around you that has the same excuses, the one you're giving, and the person is successful? When you ask this question, excuse me, if you are honest, you will have to admit that there are thousands and even millions of people who have had it for worse than you have, who have gone to do wonderful things with their life, and what thousands and millions of others have done, you can do as well if you try. It has been said that if people put as much energy into achieving their goal as they spend making up excuses for failure, they would actually surprise themselves. But first, you have to vote yourself off the island. I'm coming. So, let's continue. So, topic is humble beginning. Very few people start off with many advantages. Personally, I did not, English. I did not graduate from high school. I worked at laboring job for several years. I had limited education, limited skills, and limited future. And then I began asking the question, why are some people more successful than others? The question changed my life. Now, page 4. Over the years, I have read thousands of books and articles on the subject of success and achievements. It seems that the reason for those accomplishments have been discussed and written about for more than 2,000 years in every conceivable way. One quality that most philosophers, teachers, and experts agree on is the importance of self-discipline. Discipline is what you must have to resist to law excuses. If it is self-discipline that enables you to vote yourself off the island, it is the key to the great life, and without it, no lasting success is possible. The development of self-discipline changed my life, and it will change yours as well. By continually demanding more from yourself, I became successful in sales and then in management. I caught up on my schooling and took an MBA degree in my 30s, which required thousands of hours determined study. I imported Suzuki vehicle into Canada before anyone else, set up 65 dealership and sold 25 million worth of vehicle, and this is all after I had started with no knowledge of the industry. What I had, however, was the discipline and determination to learn what I needed to know and then apply what I needed to do. I got into real estate development with no knowledge or experience, applied the power of discipline, which was then backed by hundreds of hours of work and study. I then went on to build shopping center, industrial park, office buildings, and residential subdivisions. With self-discipline, I have built successful businesses in training, consulting, speaking, writing, recording, and distribution. My audio and video program book seminar and training program have sold more than 500 million in 36 languages and 54 countries. Over the years, I have consulted for more than 1,000 companies and trained more than 5 million people in live seminar and talks. In every case, the practice of self-discipline has been essential to my success. I discovered that you can achieve almost any goal you set for yourself if you have the discipline to pay the price, to do what you need to do, and not and to never give up. So I've been reading for like 10-12 minutes now, but um the plan is to read for like 30 minutes or 40 minutes thereabouts. So we're just going to see how many pages. Right now I'm going to we are in page 5. So I'll start reading from here again. So let's continue. Who should read this book? This book is written for ambitious, determined men and women who want to achieve everything that is possible for them in life. It is written for people who are hungry to do more and have more and to be more. Perhaps the most important insight of all with regard to success is that to achieve greatly, you must become a different person. It is not the material things you accomplish or acquire that matter so much as it is the quality of the person you must become to accomplish well above the average. The development of self-discipline is the high road that makes everything possible for you. This book will serve as your step-by-step guide to becoming a remarkable person who is capable of remarkable achievements. Page 6. A chance encounter reveals the reason for success. Some years ago, I was attending a conference in Washington, D.C. During the lunch break, I was eating at the nearby food fair. The area was crowded, so I sat down at the last open table by myself, even though it was table for 4. A few minutes later, an old gentleman and a younger woman who appeared to be his assistant came along carrying trays of food and obviously looking for a place to sit. Having lots of room on my table, I immediately arose and invited the old gentleman to join me. He was hesitant, but I insisted. Finally, he sat down quietly, thankfully, and we began to chat over lunch. It turns out that his name was Cop Meyer. As it happened, I immediately knew who he was. He was a legend in the field of success and achievement. Cop Meyer had written 4 best-selling books, each of which contained 250 success principles that he had derived from more than 50 years of research and study. I have read all 4 books from cover to cover more than once. After we had chatted for a while, I asked him the question that many people in the situation would ask: of all the 1,000 success principles that you have discovered, which do you think is the most important? Anyway, let's continue. He smiled at me with a twinkle eye, as if he had been asked this question many times, and he replied without hesitating. The most important success principle of all was stated by Albert Hubbard. Hubbard, Hubbard, Herbert Hubbard, one of the most prolific writer in American history at the beginning of the 20th century. He said, self-discipline is the ability to do what you should do when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. He went on to say, there are 999 other success principles that I have found in my reading and experience, but without self-discipline, none of them work. With self-discipline, they all work. Thus, self-discipline is the key to personal greatness. It is the magic quality that opens all doors for you and making everything else possible. With self-discipline, the average person can rise as far as fast as his talent and intelligence can take him. But without self-discipline, a person with every blessing of background, education, and opportunity will seldom, that means rarely rise above mediocrity. English, mediocrity. What is mediocrity? Mediocrity. MEDIOCRITY. Anyways, let's continue. Your two worst enemy. Next paragraph. Just as self-discipline is the key to success, the lack of self-discipline is the major cause of failure, frustration, underachievement, and unhappiness in life. It caused us to make excuses and sell ourselves short. Perhaps the two biggest enemies of success, happiness, and personal fulfillment are the first part to least resistance and second the expediency factor. The part of least resistance is what causes people to take the easy way in almost every situation. They seek shortcuts to everything. They arrive at work at the last minute and leave at the first opportunity. They look for get rich quick scheme and easy money over time. Over time, they develop the habit of always seeking an easier, faster way to get the things they want rather than doing it hard but necessary to achieve real success. The expediency factor, which is an extension of the law of least resistance, is even worse when leading people to failure and underachievement. The principle say people invariably seek the fastest and easiest way to get the things where they want right now. The little or none concern for the long-term consequences of their behavior. In other words, most people do what is expedient, what is fun and easy rather than what is necessary for success. Every day and every minute of every day, there is a battle going on inside of you between doing what is right, hard, and necessary, like the angel on one shoulder, or doing what is fun, easy, and of little or no value, like the devil on the other shoulder. Every minute of every day, you must fight and win this battle with the expediency factor and resist the pull of the path of the least resistance. If you truly desire to become everything you are capable of becoming. Take control of yourself. Another definition of self-discipline is self-mastery. Success is possible only when you can master your own emotion, appetite, and inclination. Inclination. People who lack the ability to master their appetite become weak and dissolute, as well as unreliable in other things as well. Self-discipline can also be defined as self-control. Your ability to control yourself and your action, control what you say and do, and ensure that your behavior are consistent with your long-term goal and objective. Tí life yìí bá ti pé 30 minutes, a máa end there. Or 35 minutes, probably. We have less than 10 minutes. In the mark of the superior person, discipline has been defined as self-denial. This requires that you deny yourself the easy pleasure, the temptation that leads so many people astray, and instead discipline yourself to do only those things that you know are right for the long time and appropriate for the moment. Self-discipline requires delayed gratification, the ability to put off satisfaction in the short term in order to enjoy greater reward in the long term. Think long term. TLT. Psychologist Dr. Edward of Harvard University conducted a 55-year study into the reason for upward socioeconomic mobility in America. He concluded that the most important single attribute of people who achieve great success in life was long-term perspective. Edward defined time perspective as the amount of time an individual takes into consideration when determining his present action. In other words, the most successful people are long-term thinkers. So if you want to succeed in life, you don't just think about now, you think about later. They look into the future as far as they can to determine the kind of people they want to become and the goal they want to achieve. Then they come back to the present and determine the thing that they will have to do or not do to achieve their desired future. This practice of long-term thinking applies to work, career, marriage, relationship, money, and personal conduct. Each of which is covered in the pages ahead. Successful people make sure that everything they do in the short term is consistent with where they want to end up in the long term. They practice self-discipline at all times. Perhaps the most important word for long-term thinking is sacrifice. Superior people have the ability to throughout their life to make sacrifices in the short term, both large and small, so as to ensure greater rewards and results in the long term. You see, this willingness to sacrifice in people who spend many hours and even years preparing, studying, and upgrading their skill to make themselves more valuable so that they can have a better life in the future rather than spending most of their time socializing and having fun in the present. Longfellow once said, "Those heights by the great men won and kept were not achievable by sudden flight, but they while their companions slept, they toiled upward in the night. Your ability to think, plan, and work hard in short term, to discipline yourself to do what is right and necessary before you do what is fun and easy, is the key to create a wonderful future for yourself. I have 5 minutes more, and we've read so far like 10 pages. Is it 10? 10, 10, 10. We've read 10 pages. Your ability to think long term is a developed skill. As you get better at it, you become more able to predict with increasing accuracy what is likely to happen to you in the future as a result of your action in the present. This is a quality of the superior thinker. So the quality of a superior thinker is the ability to think long term, to increase accuracy, and the ability to know what is going to happen to them in the future. So let's stop there for today, and next time we are reading, we'll stop here today. This is where you stop today. Can you see? So next time you're going to start from here and see how many pages you can read. So far we've read how many sheets? 2. How many leaflets? 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is what we read today. We should be able to complete this before January, and if not January, I believe we should continue on it. If you are here and you haven't subscribed to my channel, subscribe. Bye for now.